During my baby shower, my MIL stood up holding a champagne glass and said, "Let's be honest, this baby deserves a better mother than her." I froze as everyone turned to look at me. Even my husband didn't say a word. When I quietly got up to leave, she yelled, "Sit down. You always make everything about you." I felt my water break right then. But that's not what made everyone finally turn on her. I'm Erin. I'm 33, from Evansville, Indiana. I've been married to my husband, Nate, for 4 years now, but this story happened a year ago when I was pregnant with our first child. At the time, we were supposed to be happy, starting a family, looking forward to the future. But I should have known better. Or maybe I did. Maybe I just didn't want to admit it. Nate's mom, Elaine, never liked me. From day one, she treated me like I wasn't good enough. Not loud or cruel in public, not at first. Just constant digs wrapped in fake concern. "You sure you want to keep working while pregnant? I'm surprised you're not reading any parenting books. That color washes you out. Pregnant women should glow." It was always little things, but they added up. Over time, I started feeling small around her. And Nate never stood up for me. He'd shrug and say, "She's just old school," or "She means well." I let it go. I told myself it wasn't worth fighting over. I thought once the baby came, things would get better. I thought maybe she'd soften up. I was dead wrong. My baby shower was on a Saturday afternoon in June. We rented out this little event hall downtown. I remember it was hot as hell outside, but the inside looked beautiful. My mom and my best friend Cassie had spent hours decorating soft pinks and blues, little elephant centerpieces, mom-to-be sashes. It was sweet. I was nervous but happy. There were about 40 people there. Friends, family, coworkers. Everyone was talking, laughing, eating tiny sandwiches. Elaine was there too, of course, in one of her expensive-looking suits and pearl earrings. She brought a fancy champagne bottle, even though I couldn't drink. Things were going fine. A little awkward, but fine. Until right before the game started. That's when Elaine stood up. She tapped her glass with a spoon. The room quieted down. I thought she was going to give a toast or say something nice, finally. Instead, she said this. "Well, let's be honest. This baby deserves a better mother than her." Just like that. No lead up. No smile. Just those words, sharp and cold. I froze. No one said a word. Everyone just stared. Some people looked confused. Some looked shocked. Cassie whispered, "What the hell?" My mom gasped. And Nate? He just sat there. Didn't move. Didn't say anything. Just kept looking down at his drink. I looked around the room and felt like I was shrinking. I stood up, slow, quiet. I didn't say anything. I just wanted to leave, to get out before I cried. Then Elaine snapped again. "Sit down. You always make everything about you." That's when I felt it. A sudden, warm gush between my legs. At first, I thought it was just nerves. Then came the pain. Sharp, low, and steady. My water had broken. Someone screamed. Chairs scraped. I think someone dropped a plate. I grabbed the back of a chair and sat down again, gasping. People rushed over. Cassie was at my side in seconds, calling 911. My mom grabbed towels. And then it happened. Elaine ran over, yelling for people to move. She fumbled through her purse for her phone. And something fell out. A white envelope. It landed near Cassie's feet. She picked it up, thinking maybe it was mine. She opened it. I'll never forget the look on her face. She turned to me and said, "Erin, this has your name on it." Inside was a printed letter. 2 pages long. It was a legal document. A custody petition. Elaine had already drawn up papers to fight for custody of my unborn child. The letter said I was unfit, emotionally unstable, neglectful. Said I was refusing to prepare the nursery and showing signs of depression. Said I shouldn't be allowed to parent without supervision. Worse? Nate had signed it. He was listed as a co-petitioner. The letter said he supported transferring full custody to Elaine once the baby was born. It accused me of being a danger to the baby's development. I couldn't breathe. The pain was so bad, I couldn't even scream. But I remember locking eyes with Nate. He looked away. The whole room turned on them. On both of them. My mom shouted, "What the hell is this?" Cassie yelled at Nate, "You were gonna take her baby?" People were crying, yelling, backing away. Elaine tried to explain, but it didn't matter. No one believed a word she said after that. Nate just stood there, frozen. And me? They wheeled me out on a stretcher 10 minutes later. I gave birth to my daughter 6 weeks early. She was small, but strong. And I wasn't done with Elaine. Not by a long shot. After I gave birth, I stayed in the hospital for 6 days. 6 long, painful, terrifying days. My daughter, Ava, had to be kept in the NICU because her lungs weren't fully developed. I spent every hour I could in that room, holding her tiny fingers through the incubator. She was so small. But she fought. And so did I. Nate showed up once. He brought flowers. Walked in like nothing had happened. He kissed my forehead like we were still okay. Like I hadn't just found out he planned to take my child away from me. I didn't say a word at first. Just stared at him. Finally, I said, "Why?" He didn't look surprised. Didn't even deny it. He said, "Elaine just wanted to make sure Ava was raised right. You've been off lately." I laughed. I actually laughed, even though I wanted to scream. I was pregnant, Nate. That's not being off. That's hormones. That's exhaustion. He shrugged. You didn't even put together the crib. You kept saying you were tired. I stared at him, realizing he actually believed that made me unfit. That he thought being overwhelmed meant I didn't love my child. You were supposed to help me, I said. Not file legal paperwork behind my back. He didn't apologize. Not once. Instead, he said, "We can move past this. Now that Ava's here." I kicked him out. Told the nurse I didn't want him visiting me or Ava again. She nodded without asking questions. 2 days later, I went home with Ava. My mom stayed with me. She cooked, cleaned, helped me through the crying nights. Cassie came by every day after work. I was exhausted, but I felt safe. Nate didn't come near me. Neither did Elaine. Until I got served. A man in a suit knocked on my door one morning and handed me a thick envelope. I knew before I opened it. Elaine was suing for emergency custody. She claimed Ava's early birth was due to emotional distress caused by a toxic household. Claimed I had no support system and refused contact with the father. She said I was isolating the baby, that I wasn't letting Nate be a father, that I was emotionally unstable and unfit. I nearly dropped Ava when I read those words. I didn't have much money. I was on unpaid maternity leave. Nate had control of most of our finances. But I had one thing they didn't expect: people. Real people. Cassie helped me find a lawyer willing to take my case pro bono. My mom pulled from her retirement savings to cover court fees. A few of my coworkers even showed up to testify that Elaine had made cruel comments about me being a mother. But none of that prepared me for what I found out next. My lawyer dug through Elaine's financial records. She had hired a private investigator 6 months earlier. She'd been building a case against me before I was even showing. She'd been following me, taking photos of me coming home from work, sitting in my car, shopping alone at Target. She called it evidence of isolation. She even recorded a phone call I had with Cassie where I said I felt scared about becoming a mom. Used it in court. Claimed it proved I was unstable. But the worst? The investigator found something they didn't expect. Elaine had paid someone to go through my medical records. Illegally. That broke the case wide open. Suddenly the judge wanted answers. My lawyer pounced. Elaine got caught lying under oath. Nate tried to backtrack, claimed he never meant to sign anything, said Elaine pushed him. But the damage was done. They'd built a case against me on lies and illegal actions. And now? Now it was my turn. The judge ordered a pause in the custody case while the new evidence was reviewed. It bought me time, but it also opened a door. With the illegal access to my records confirmed, my lawyer pressed for more. She requested full discovery on Elaine's communications, texts, emails, call logs. Elaine fought it, said it was harassment. But once the court approved it, everything started falling apart. The texts told a different story than the one she spun in court. Elaine had been texting Nate for months about how to remove me from the picture after the birth. She told him I was a placeholder and that once Ava was here, they could take over. She even joked about how I was too lazy to fight back. Nate never once stopped her, never once defended me. But one message changed everything. It was from 3 weeks before the baby shower. Elaine had texted Nate, "We'll serve her before the 6-week mark. If she flips, we'll use it in court. Make sure she's alone and tired when we do it." She was planning to catch me at my most vulnerable. She wanted me scared, broken, and isolated. The court couldn't ignore that. But there was something else. Something I didn't even know myself. While digging through the call logs, my lawyer found a number Elaine had been contacting regularly. Twice a week, every week, for the past 8 months. It wasn't family. It wasn't a lawyer. It was a therapist. Not her therapist. Mine. The same therapist I'd stopped seeing 5 months ago. I hadn't thought much of it at the time. She'd been kind, gentle. But my sessions with her had started to feel off. Like she wasn't really listening. Like she was trying to lead me toward doubts I didn't already have. And now I knew why. Elaine had somehow gotten close to her. Paid her. Coached her. I confronted the therapist, recording the whole conversation. I asked, "Did you talk to my husband's mother about our sessions?" Her face went white. She tried to deny it at first, but when I played a voicemail of Elaine bragging to someone about her secret source, she shut down. Didn't answer any more questions. Just walked me out of the office. I gave that recording to my lawyer the next day. We filed a counterclaim. Emotional distress, invasion of privacy, conspiracy to commit fraud, medical privacy violations. Now they were the ones on the defensive. Nate stopped showing up to hearings. Elaine hired a new lawyer, someone loud, aggressive, trying to spin it all as concern for the baby's safety. But the judge had seen enough. They ordered a psychological evaluation. Not for me. For Elaine. And what came back was disturbing. The evaluator wrote that Elaine displayed delusional thinking, a deep desire for control, and obsessive behavior regarding the unborn child. She believed Ava was hers to protect, even if it meant hurting me. At that point, the judge issued a no-contact order. Elaine wasn't allowed near me or Ava. Nate was put on supervised visitation only, once a week, for 2 hours. It should have been over. But it wasn't. Because 3 weeks later, my front window shattered in the middle of the night. And a brick landed in Ava's crib. The sound of glass shattering yanked me out of bed. I jumped up so fast I nearly tripped over myself. My mom came rushing from the hallway, and we both ran straight into Ava's room. The brick had gone through the window and landed in her empty crib. Thank God she was asleep in her bassinet next to my bed that night. One of those mom gut decisions I'll never stop being grateful for. I called the police immediately. While we waited, I held Ava tight against my chest. She didn't cry, just looked up at me with those big eyes like she trusted me to fix it all. And I swore I would. The police took pictures, dusted the brick for prints. There was no note, no camera footage. But I knew who did it. There was no one else with that much hate in their heart for me. No one else obsessed enough to make a threat like that. I told the cops it was Elaine. They said they couldn't prove it yet. But they added patrols on my block and suggested I stay somewhere else for a few days. I packed up Ava and went to Cassie's. That night, lying on a couch with Ava sleeping on my chest, I made a decision. I wasn't waiting for the system to protect us anymore. I filed for divorce the next morning. I also requested full custody with 0 visitation. Not even supervised. My lawyer was hesitant. Said it'd be hard to cut Nate out completely, that courts usually push for some contact. I didn't care. I told her about the brick, about the texts, about the therapist, about every single thing they'd done to me. She said, then we go all the way. What I didn't expect was Nate finally fighting back. He showed up to court for the first custody hearing looking tired and angry. Claimed I was the problem, that I was turning Ava against him, that I was unhinged. Elaine wasn't there. Not physically. But she sent in a sworn statement claiming I had planted the brick myself to get sympathy. Said I was dangerous and vindictive. The judge wasn't buying it. He asked Nate, "Do you believe your mother is a threat to your child?" And Nate said, "No. I believe Erin is." That's when I pulled out the final piece. A voice recording. From 2 days earlier. Elaine had called Nate from a blocked number. She didn't know I'd been tracking his phone records for weeks. My lawyer got a warrant. And I had it. In the recording, she says, "Don't worry, the brick didn't hit the baby. It just scared her. She needed to be scared." I played it in court. The judge's face went red. He called for an immediate recess. When we returned, everything changed. Elaine was issued a restraining order, permanently barred from contacting me or Ava. Nate's visitation was suspended pending psychological review. The judge even ordered an investigation into possible criminal charges. But I wasn't done. I filed a civil suit against Elaine for emotional damage, invasion of privacy, and endangering a minor. The therapist lost her license. And Nate? He tried to keep his job at the bank, but once word got out, they quietly let him go. I moved across town. New address. New locks. New number. I changed Ava's last name to mine. For the first time in months, I breathed. Was I perfect through all of this? No. I should have seen the red flags with Nate earlier. I should have left before it got this far. I let my fear of being alone keep me in a toxic marriage. But when it came to protecting my daughter, I didn't flinch. Elaine thought she could take Ava from me. Now she'll never see her again. And Nate? He gets to live with what he lost. I don't know if I'll ever fully heal from what they did, but Ava is safe. And happy. And loved. That's all that matters. That's all that ever mattered.